going to try this one again, which I realize is a little bit of an insane plan as far as content goes. But a couple days ago, we did a first pick mock draft, and I feel like there were a few little things I wanted to tweak that I missed on. Not that I missed on, or just like strategically, I could have done it better. So we're going right back to the well on today's show, and we're going to do another first overall pick mock draft. Yep, that's right. And today we're going to fix the errors of yesteryear, of 3 days ago or whatever it was. Welcome to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. This is a mock draft edition. I'm trying to do a few of these a week. I think I've been pretty good about that. I'm Dan Bespris, at Dan Bespris on social media, at Old Man Squad is where you can follow the network. Make sure to follow that one because it'll follow you back. I won't. I have a perfectly cultivated list of follows to get my news as fast as humanly possible. But Old Man Squad will follow you. And please remember to like, rate, and subscribe. And that reminds me to turn off noises. There we go. So you guys don't get those in your ear. So I'm going Wemby right out of the chute. And we're gonna make sure we do better on what went wrong. And if you missed that last show, and we'll watch the draft board fill up here while we're talking about it. If you missed our last mock draft, where I also went Wemby, I pulled off a pretty good punt field goal build, but waited way too long to shore up one or two of the big man stats that Wemby brings to the table. Because as Wemby goes, he's a big man, obviously, at 7'4". He's quite tall. But he's not great at all of the big man categories, meaning he's outstanding at shot blocking. He's going to be a very good rebounder, but he's probably not going to be a positive in field goal percent. We don't know how much of a negative he's going to be, but when you compare him to other centers, specifically centers being drafted in the first round, he's a massive, massive negative there. You know, Joel Embiid, 53%, Jokic, 58%, AD, 56%. These guys are putting up big field goal percent impact numbers, and Wemby's simply not. And this is, again, so if you look at like down the stretch last year, and if you're punting field goal, Wemby was just boat racing everyone for number one. It wasn't close. Nobody was close. Luka was number two. That's why that makes so much sense. It's not because he's bad at field goal percent, but it's because for a center, he's bad at field goal percent. But what I did wrong on the last episode was I went so hard into the guard build, and I got so good at assists and threes and steals, and scoring was pretty good, and turnovers was terrible, and field goal percent was terrible, that I forgot to shore up rebounds and blocks, which is the things you want to make sure you're at least good at. And certainly with Wemby, it'd be nice to be very good at blocks because he gives you this absurd mega boost in that category that you're typically not going to get out of anyone on a punt field goal team. First round here for those that are listening and not watching went Wemby, Jokic, Luka, Shea. Giannis went 5, then Hallie, then Anthony Davis at 7. Embiid 8, Trae Young 9, Tatum 10, Steph Curry 11, Kevin Durant 12. That's the first round, and I'll try to play a little catch up on those as we go through. I think it's more important to talk through the strategy of it all. Now, in the last one, I got myself all twisted into knots because none of the guys that I wanted got back to me at the very end of the second round. Everybody that I was eyeballing was gone. Everybody, literally everyone. So I ended up going Paul George there, and who the hell was the other one that I took in that? I think it was like Chet Holmgren, or not Chet. I think it was Cade Cunningham or something like that, which like Cade made a lot of sense. PG didn't make a ton of sense, did take care of a steals issue, but didn't really shore up the categories that I needed to. All right, so now we're starting to close in on me. I don't even want to set a queue here because I know they're all going to be gone. But in terms of guys that are good fits, Holmgren would have been one. He just went off the board at 15. Oh, Booker was the other guy I took. I went Paul George and Devin Booker. That one's fine. Dame would be great as a punt field goal guy. LaMelo Ball, if you're willing to take a risk. Harden is great there. These guys are low field goal dudes who do a lot of the stuff that Wemby doesn't, including, also guys that I assume are going to score. I know Yahoo's projection doesn't have Harden scoring all that much this year, but I think he's going to put up pretty decent numbers there. JJJ is actually on the table here to sort of clean up the blocks situation, but then I got to make sure that I go real heavy on guards after that. So that's another possibility. Fox goes 18. Kyrie. All right, I got a few options left. One of them might make it to me. I got 4 guys in the queue and only 3 picks before me. So that means I'm going to get at least one of these dudes. It'll probably be JJJ. Brunson's not a horrible idea here. He's not really what you'd call a traditional punt field goal guy. Neither is LeBron. There goes Harden all the way down at 21. So almost. And then there goes LaMelo. Now I'm sure Dame's going to go here. If Dame comes off the board, I don't know who the hell I'm taking with JJJ. It's probably whoever the best guard stat guy is left at that point. Oh, PG went off the board. So I actually got the 2 guys that I was hoping to get as a pair, meaning Dame, who's a perfect punt field goal fit with Wemby. Great free throws, great threes, good scoring, good assists. Not great assists, but pretty solid there. Doesn't do much in steals and blocks, but that's okay because Wemby covers that up. And then the other option, if I didn't go Dame, I'm going to take JJJ just to buy myself another 25 seconds to talk. If I didn't go Dame, Cade would have been the other choice, who probably gets a few more steals and assists, but Dame likely outscores him by a bunch. And after taking JJJ, I got to get the points. So we'll go Dame. The nice thing about Lillard is if you're punting field goals, he's going to be a top 15 guy. It's basically just a freaking lock at that point. And so that's lovely. And even with punting field goal, there's no guarantee that Cade gets to that point. He's also bad turnover dude, which, I mean, admittedly, that might end up being a mess for my team anyway. But I don't have to immediately punt turnovers also. Throw the draft board back up on the screen. I don't think people watching can see. I think that's too small. So let's zoom in a little bit. Second round, by the way, went Donovan Mitchell, 13, Anthony Edwards, 14, Chet Holmgren, 15, Domantas Sabonis, 16, Devin Booker, 17, and De'Aaron Fox very early at 18. Kyrie at 19 is actually starting to get close to where I would take him. Scotty Barnes at 20, Harden 21. Terrific deal on Harden here. LaMelo Ball at 22 was a guy I'm not really targeting unless I'm punting field goal. So he's a Trae Young hyper guard build pair or a Wemby guard with big risky pair. I still don't really want to go that route because Wembanyama showed himself to be pretty durable last year. And, if you have the first pick, like the only thing you can't do is screw it up. Everything else, you're fine. Like if you just go fine for the next couple of picks, you'll be in good shape. Paul George went 23. I got a little bit lucky there that Dame didn't go 23. If he did, I would have gone JJJ and Cade, who's still somehow on the board. Very surprising. Freddie VanVleet is also an option in a punt field goal team because of the steals and the assists. But I really want to make sure I get scoring here because I've gone JJJ with my second rounder. He's not going to be a super high scoring dude. I want the blocks. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as I want the blocks. And I think he's going to be better at them than last year. He was still at 1.6. That probably ticks back up a little bit. Scoring will come down probably, 18, 19 points, which is pretty low for a second rounder. But again, doesn't hurt my free throw percent and steals and blocks out of a big man spot. Rebounds not great for JJJ. There's a distinct possibility I end up kind of mid-pack in boards by the end of all of this. But I want to win blocks. I got Wemby. I think if I'm going to go guard on basically rounds like 3 through 8, I might as well make sure that I lock in. There's another moth. What is going on in this home? It's like once per show they come out. Maybe it's because I got the ring light on. That's what's going on here. Should have seen that one. Come on, Dan, figure this crap out. Third round, Dame, myself. That was Dame at 25. Then Brunson, LeBron, Şengün, DeJounte Murray, and Lauri Markkanen. Everything in there is sort of fine. I wouldn't have gone Şengün at that spot when you've got Shea and Harden. Sort of blow up one of your good categories. Bam at 31 is too early for Bam for me. Maxey, good spot, 32. Kawhi, great deal at 33. Freddie VanVleet, great deal at 34. Cade, 35. Jalen Johnson, 36. That's all good. Fourth round is underway now. I'm going to go back to the board to see who the hell is left for me here because I got to start figuring out what my pairing is going to be. Ja is not a bad selection if he makes it to me at 48, which, let's be honest, he probably won't. I got to make sure that I get assists and scoring. Preferably some threes as well, but that's not the topmost priority because I got Dame and I got some big men that actually hit three. So that'll probably kind of take care of itself as we go. Ja went at 42, by the way. So my board is dog do right now. Best assist guys left, at least according to Yahoo projections, are not for a little ways down the board. Could I go Darius Garland this early at 48-49? I could, and it might not be the worst idea in the world because that combo of assists and scoring, I have to get it. Do I trust Jamal Murray? Because he would also be that kind of guy. Emmanuel quickly has some upside in assists and scoring. Well, it's coming up on me here in a second, so I'm going to have to make a choice. Or I go DeMar DeRozan, who's probably going to be scoring and assists, but without the three-pointers. Is that a safer route to take? He's not really a punt field goal guy, so that, I don't want to say completely takes him off the board, but certainly brings him down a click. All right, so I'm probably going to go Emmanuel quickly at 48. And then the question is, how far down the board do I reach to get my other assist guy here? And it's probably going to be Quickly and Garland. I know that they're not the best options at 48-49. Derek White would be better in 9-cat. DeRozan's probably better in 9-cat. But I've got my blocks collected. So we're going to just go really early on a couple of guards. I'm going to make sure that I take care of some stats that are problematic for my team. Because, look, I'm mid-pack and assists. I need to deal with this now. So we're going to go quickly, and we're going to try to jump up the board as best we can. And I'm going to have to do this again. I'm not done. We'll see what everybody looks like at the end of this round. I have no idea how my free throw is not top of the board. Threes are very good. Scoring is good. Rebounds are honestly not bad at the moment, although we'll see what this round does to knock me down. My assists are near the top. My steals are near the top. My blocks are way out in front of everybody. And my turnovers are god-awful. Someone's going to catch up to me in a few of these things, again, because Yahoo, the way they display the standings is a little bit screwball. Anyway, let me give you the fourth round while we're waiting. Darius Garland, that was me after, or that was the end of the fourth round, excuse me. Jalen Williams was the first pick of the fourth round. Love him. Love the two Jalens, honestly. Mobley at 38 is fine. Nothing special there. Cat at 39 is safe. Jaylen Brown at 40. If you're not punting free throws, that one's a little bit of a dice roll. Miles Turner, 41. He keeps going earlier and earlier, and I'm not really sure why. Ja, 42 is fine, especially if you're punting some percentages. Wagner, well, that's way too early on Franz for me at 43. Way early. Paolo at 44. That's a punt free throw team, so there's your explanation there. Jimmy Butler at 45. I'm going to end up with Jimmy Butler late fourth round in a lot of drafts this year. I can pretty much guarantee it. Bane at 46. Very safe pick. No problem there. Jared Allen, 47. Also a very safe pick. And then my Darius Garland at 48. And the fifth round is zipping along here. Nice job, everybody, getting those picks in quick. Quickly for me, then DeRozan, Gobert, Jalen Duren, Zion. Again, that's that punt team. And Pascal Siakam. That team's gone. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I guess that's fine for Pascal. Vooch, mid-fifth round. That's fine. Not excited about it. Jamal Murray, mid-fifth round. That's probably where he should go. Derek White, great deal for Brandon there at late fifth round. Nick Claxton, I see no reason to take him in almost any format. Even if you're punting free throw, you can get better deals on other guys later. Miles Bridges at pick 59, relatively safe and uninspiring choice. And then Devin Vassell at 60. It's pretty early on Vassell and very early on Cam Thomas, who actually just opened up the sixth round at pick number 61. Let's go back to the draft board because, again, my situation here is, and this is going to be a pretty good example of it. My free throws are very good. My threes are very good. My scoring has now dropped back down to lower levels, but that one moves around fast as other teams take picks. I'm a little surprised that it's as low as it is, but again, Wemby is not, they don't have him as a monster scorer. JJJ, not one. Dame's a good scorer. I don't really have a hyper elite scorer, so I got to get more points. My rebounds are lowish. My assists have now fallen to the middle of the pack. Steals are suddenly mid-pack. Although, again, like these standings are hard to follow. My blocks are no longer in first place because, again, and turnovers are moving up towards the top. But this is what happens when you're like the round is coming back to you. This Yahoo thing does totals, and so it doesn't like it's additive. It's not showing the per game or something like that. That would be the most useful here. Okay, draft board. So it's fairly clear that I need scoring, like in a big way. I still need more assists. I still need to make sure that I'm shoring up all my guard stats, although threes are in very good shape right now. So the guys on the board that make sense would be Julius Randle. If I want to fill up a big man spot with a guy who passes, my team, I think, can handle the free throw hit he would put on there. Zach LaVine is going to score, I would think, a fair amount this year. Kobe White is a guy who's going to score a bunch. Bradley Beal, I think, will score some, maybe not a ton. D'Lo's a good fit for the assists if I want to make sure that I continue to pile up that particular category. So there are a lot of options left, although Randall did just come off the board. But now there's only one pick before me. I don't think I'd go much farther down, but I got to get scoring at this point. Like that's very important. And Kobe White's going to score a bunch, and D'Lo I think is going to score a fair amount, and Zach LaVine I think is going to score a fair amount. So I've got some choices here on which direction I want to go. I think I got to take the assists. So D'Lo is going to be one of them, because guys that score and hit threes and get some steals and get some assists, these guys are drying up. This next one has just got to be points. So the question is, who do I think is going to score more between Zach LaVine and Kobe White? Yahoo thinks it's going to be White. I'm not sure that I totally agree with that, but whatever. We'll go the Kobe direction, and we'll just keep piling up point guards because that's basically what my team needed to do. Still in good shape in blocks. Steals are back near the top of the board. Assists have moved back up towards the top. Scoring is in much better shape. Threes, I'm absolutely obliterating everyone. And, again, these are going to jump around as this round moves through. Here, I'll zoom in so you guys can see what this looks like. Is that all 12 teams? Or am I missing someone? No, that's everybody. This is nuts. The way that this show, like I had the first pick of this round, so my team's going to get an unfair boost. And then as the other names come off the board, you'll see me fall little by little. Like there, you can see the scoring is falling back behind. But I honestly don't care. I can make up this difference somewhere else. Sixth round for you guys. Cam Thomas, then Tobias Harris, who's really moved very far up the board. I'm starting to get a little pissed about it. Mikal Bridges at 63, DeAndre Ayton at 64, Mark Williams at 65, Brandon Ingram at 66. Bridges, Williams, I think I like in that group. Clint Capella, I hate that at 67. Giddey at 68. That's a punt free throw team, although he might not be bad at those anymore. Randall goes 69. That team, I hope, is punting something. Brandon Miller, I was going to say 60-10. I'd pick 70. I'm not as high on Brandon Miller as some others. Beal at 71. I like that one. D'Lo for me at 72. I'm good with that. Kobe White is not a guy I would normally take at 73, but again, I got a build I got to worry about here. If you're thinking, Dan, you probably need to get a third center, you're probably right, but I still think that I need to make sure that I'm shoring up a couple of things. Most notably, scoring has got to be better, and now steals have also become a problem because a bunch of these guys I took weren't really steals dudes. So I need points, I need steals, blocks. I'm still okay between JJJ and Wemby. I'm in still very good shape. But if I'm in a punt field goal build, I can't let a few of these things slip away. So let's see who's now floating around on the board that could make sense in all this stuff. CJ McCollum, Tyler Hero, these guys are both going to score a fair amount, so they're very much on the table. Jordan Poole, by the way, is not off the table, but that doesn't help me much in steals, so that's something I got to be worried about. Perhaps I could look at a big man who gets both steals and rebounds and block shot. Well, rebounds is probably dead. So a steals, blocks, rebound guy? No. A steals, blocks guy wouldn't be horrible. So that would be Oh, like an Alex Caruso or a Herb Jones. It might be time to deal with that because that would cover up some of the blocks issue, but again, problematic on the scoring side. Anyway, let's see who's still on the board when it gets back to me. I mean, Terry Rozier is not a horrible option here. Anthony Simons, I don't need the 3-pointers, but the points are nice. Jalen Suggs is a steals guy. He just got drafted at 88. Or do I venture deeper into the board and take someone like a Bogdan Bogdanovic or an OG Anunoby who's going to get some steals and blocks? And I don't have him scoring very much, but he might do better than that. I'm a little worried because, there's a couple of guys, there are very few guys that score as you get deeper into the draft. But there are guys that are going to be the point guard build. So I don't think that I need to be doing assists right now. I think I got to deal with the steals thing. So what does that come down to? Well, if I'm not targeting assists, which I don't think I am here, I think I have plenty of those between Dame, Quickly, Garland, D'Lo, Kobe White, and then Wemby, honestly, is not going to be a bad assist guy. The issues I need to address right now that are going to get harder and harder to find, scoring and steals. Somehow I need to combine those things, and there aren't that many of those dudes left. In fact, there are probably none. And maybe that's the issue with a Quickly Garland 4-5 selection, but it's okay. It is what it is. Rozier is not a bad steals guy. He could go on the board, but he's not a great one. But it does combine at least some scoring and some steals together. McCollum is not he just came off the board. So Rozier is in the mix. And then you're looking at Poole, who's more scoring but not steals. And you'd look at someone like a Herb Jones as a big steals guy, and Anunoby's also a big steals guy. So I think that gets me enough players in my queue to get through this one. Let's not go farther down the board. There goes Jordan Poole, so he's off the table. So it's probably going to be Rozier and either Herb Jones or OG. Basically, who do I think provides a better set of what I'm looking for? Yahoo thinks Herb Jones is going to score more than Anunoby. I don't think that I agree with that. Let's go ahead and take Rozier because he's a good fit for what my team needs right now. And then, again, if we're just going to go for score, I mean, Jeremy Grant, honestly, is not a terrible option here for scoring, but I got to get steals. So Grant would have been the choice instead of Terry Rozier. Herb, OG. Which way do we go on this one? We'll go Anunoby. There you go. So that should hopefully assist on the steals portion a little bit. It has me at the top because, again, it's the beginning of the round, which is not going to stick. I am now getting to the point where I need to address the fact that I only have 2 guys on my team that block any shots. Although I guess OG, he might not be too far off of 1 block per game, but Wemby, JJJ, and then it's like a whole bunch of guys that have no business blocking any shots. So this is where things maybe get a little bit more complicated. Let me read off a couple of rounds to you guys. I think we skipped a couple here. 7th round after Kobe White went Hartenstein, Porter Jr., Zach LaVine, Yusuf Nurkic, and JV. Jabari Smith Jr. 7th round? That's a little early. It's a little early on JV. A lot of Kuzma, Austin Reeves. It's pretty early on Reeves, too. Trey Murphy the 3rd. Jakob Poeltl, Ivica Zubac goes 84th. Tyler Hero goes 85. Then Jonathan Kuminga at 86. Drew Holiday, 87, is actually starting to become a little bit of a deal. Jalen Suggs, 88. Alex Caruso goes very early at 89. RJ Barrett goes 90th on a team that's not punting free throws, or they are. Yeah, semi-punting free throws. Okay. Still no. Simons, 91. Draymond, 92. McCollum, 93. Brook Lopez, 94. Jordan Poole, 95. Terry Rozier, 96 to me. Oh, one team just had a internet doink out. Hopefully they have a queue set. I mean, I'm going to show you guys the standings, if only because, I don't know. I'm actually not even sure why I'm doing that. What is this ranking right now? Blocks? Yeah, so I'm no longer the top of the heap in blocks. I'm not far off of it, but like there's one team that's going to be punting free throw that's probably going to beat me in blocked shots. That's okay. I can deal with that by just getting one more guy who's okay at it and beating everybody else. I'm at the top of the table in steals now, which is good news for me. That's what I was trying to do this last round, shore that up. I'm right near the top of the table in assists, so that's something I can deal with in the next round. Rebounds have fallen pretty close to the bottom of the pack because, again, I think I'm a big man in one of these rounds short. Points are still kind of upper mid pack. Taking OG probably is part of why that happened. Threes are right near the top of the board. Free throws are first. Field goal is dead last. So I've certainly punted field goal. That's for damn sure. There's the draft board again. The 9th round went OG, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Keegan Murray, Onyeka Okongwu, Walker Kessler, Herb Jones. Anybody weird in this range? Not really. Jalen Green. It's too early on Green for me, but again, they're punting, so whatever. Chris Middleton. I don't want anything to do with him. John Collins. I like that one. Derek Lively. That's fine. It's an okay spot for him. Chris Paul. This is where I wanted Chris Paul to be going from the start. And if this is now where he's going to start going, which is like 110 range, I might start getting in on Chris Paul, but we'll see if that keeps up at all. And then Naz Reid finished out the 9th round. So that's pick 108. Now it's back to the board. Let's see who's there for us. What did we just talk about? I need a big man as one of my 2 picks in this round. Unquestionably, I need one. And Colin Sexton is the other guy that I'm just straight up staring at because I want scoring. And he and Jeremy Grant are the last guys on the board that actually score. And Jeremy Grant just got drafted. And then Daniel Gafford just got drafted. So that was kind of my other ace in the hole, I thought. Not to be. Big men are almost gone now. Usually one makes it back to me at like pick 120, but it's not happening. There's almost nobody left that blocks any shots other than Trace Jackson Davis. And that's about it. I'm not doing the Zach Edey plunge. I might have to hope that I get some shot blocking out of maybe more well-rounded players. And there go both of the guys in my queue. So this round is, goat screwed at this point. There's nobody left that I really want anymore. Literally, the whole board just got wiped out all at once. So Trace Jackson Davis is probably the guy to take care of the big man issue because he's legitimately the only one left on the board that I want anything to do with. Because I don't need rebounds as much as I need the block shots. I'm hoping my team can weather one bad foul shooter. And then the other pick, I couldn't possibly tell you who the hell it's going to be. Dyson Daniels is someone I'm looking at sort of farther down the board. PJ Washington would be a guy farther down the board. If I'm looking up near the players that everybody else is kind of eyeballing, this is probably the time to go take a shot on Scoot. Let's get some points and assists and don't care about the field goal or turnovers. He's a fit. Much as it hurts to do it, he's a fit. He's going to score and he's going to pass. And I'm hoping that between him and TJD, I was able to sort of hold on to steals enough. Quickly, let me give you the 10th round, and then we'll talk a bit of strategy again. Denny Avdia at pick 109, Mitchell Robinson 110, Tyus Jones 111, Klay Thompson 112, Jeremy Grant 113, Daniel Gafford 114. That one upset me. I thought maybe he'd get back. Keontae George 115. He would have been the other guy instead of Scoot for me in the punt field goal build at this point, but he was gone. Amen Thompson, great pick. He made it farther than he should have. Colin Sexton, wanted him. Kristaps Porzingis, didn't want him. Horford, didn't really. I'm not a huge Horford guy when my team still has holes to fill, but I would take him usually in the 11th round. And then Trace Jackson Davis was my guy at the end of that one. So that moved me back up near the top of the board in blocks. Again, I'm not going to beat the guy who has the punt free throw team, but I think I'm in decent enough shape against the others. I think there might be 2 teams punting free throws. One's in like a semi-punt, and the other is in I kind of punted it, I think. Let's look at the blocks, guys, again. No, I guess the other one's okay in any event. So my team is pretty good at blocks. I think I'll be, top third in that one. Turnovers have now sort of moved into the mid range, but assists are still good, not the very best. Steals are still pretty good, not the very best. Here's the other thing now. When you get into like 9th, 10th, 11th rounds, Yahoo's going to add all these numbers in, but they have no idea what these guys are going to do. So this is, again, now we're really just ballparking it after about the first 8 rounds. It's a total ballparking. I still think that maybe one of my big mistakes, and I half corrected on this one, was taking care of the big man stuff. I went and I got JJJ earlier, and I basically said the hell with rebounds. But it's possible, I mean, really even probable, that one of those, I mean, like, look at my team here. Maybe instead of Rozier, 8th round, OG Anunoby was good. Knock out the steals deficiency. But maybe instead of Rozier, that was a spot to go with, Okongwu, shot blocker who has decent percentages. John Collins is not a great shot blocker. Gafford, not a horrible percentages guy. So maybe that's the answer there, is to just make sure you get the third one by the end of the 9th round, which in this format is there. And then because the board flips a little bit, Scoot is often going to be there at pick 120. And oftentimes Keontae George will be. He got drafted in this one, but let's see who's coming off the board in the rest of the 11th round. Scoot, then Dante DiVincenzo. Marcus Smart is one that is a bad field goal guy who gets you steals, so that's a way to shore that up looking down the line. Doesn't score much, though. Malik Monk is a decent field goal punt guy. And Aaron Neesmith, Kelly Olynyk, Bobby Portis, Mike Conley. I like Conley in general, but I don't know about this build. Cam Johnson is sort of an upside swing. KCP doesn't make a ton of sense for this build. Brandon Pajemski. Dyson Daniels is another low-scoring steals option late. Aaron Gordon, Alex Sarr. Now we're into the 12th round. Buddy Hield, Zach Edey, Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah, we're into the real turds now. But Dennis Schroeder's still out there. He probably won't make it to me, but he'd be interesting. Gary Trent Jr., steals, threes, some scoring. Norman Powell for points, I think, is an intriguing option. I don't like him much in general, but again, we're just thinking about what my team needs. Jordan Clarkson just came off the board. He would have been another decent fit for this particular type of build. As we scroll down the board here, I should have done this sooner. Guys that fit what I'm trying to do. There aren't many left. There goes Noah Clowney at 141. He's been a popular early draft guy, meaning people drafting early in early September and then holding to see if he gets a starting job before the season begins. Benedict Mathurin, we'll throw him on the list. Same with Andrew Wiggins. Not super excited about these guys, but they're not dead in the water. Again, given my goofball team build, I have to be thinking about it from that standpoint. Really should have done this sooner. Now I'm running out of time to do it. I have enough guys in my queue, though. I just want to make sure I didn't forget about anybody obvious, and I probably did. So Dennis Schroeder is an obvious pick at this point for scoring, free throw, assists. He doesn't hit that many threes, but I don't care. So Schroeder's on the board. And then choosing between these other guys, you can go to the Yahoo table and say, oh, what's my team good at? Good at free throws, good at threes, points could use a bump, rebounds stink, assists are good, steals are decent, blocks are decent. So I want to make sure that I get scoring. Is that the last? All right, fine. We'll go Norman Powell. But I don't know. It kind of feels like Gary Trent and steals would be more relevant. Whatever. Norm could get you a few steals unexpectedly. So we'll go Norm. My team doesn't think I have enough centers, even though I have 3 of them. And they've put him in the power forward and the forward slots. And then they put Norman Powell on the bench. Yahoo's got to figure out this algorithm, man. Obviously put Norman Powell in small forward, put OG in power forward, put Trace Jackson Davis in the center spot. And if I have to flip somebody out for another forward, I'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 guys. That should take care of it. Norm small forward, OG power forward, JJJ forward, Trace Jackson Davis center, Wemby center. What are you doing here, Yahoo? Get your stupid algorithm together. I'm showing the projections board right now because honestly, I think it's kind of interesting. It has me winning, by the way, which is also interesting. Byproduct, honestly, of just being able to start with Wemby. There's one pick left to go. Let's see who Daniel takes as Mr. Irrelevant. But this is intriguing. And again, this is not the be all end all of what the team's ranking will actually look like. These are Yahoo projections. They are fine, but they are flawed. But we can just sort of, half cock it a little bit. Let's zoom out one click so you guys can see that. So this has me winning from a Roto standpoint. That doesn't mean anything for head to head. More importantly, let's just look at what each category came down to. Field goal, dead last. Free throw, basically tied for first with two other teams. Threes, first place. Scoring, it has me in fourth. But again, how much do they truly know about what guys are going to score? And I'm part of this like triplicate block behind Team Joseph. They have way out in front, but then there's kind of like a three-way tie for second place, and that's where I'm at in that one. Rebounds, dead last. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I took JJJ as my second center, so we kind of knew that was going to happen. Assists, second place, totally fine. Steals, kind of mid-pack. That's a little frustrating. That's something that I think I got to do a better job of next time because OG by himself is not going to cover it. Dame quickly being some early round choices put me behind the eight ball. Those guys are not good steals guys. And maybe quickly does a little bit better this year. What does Yahoo think he's going to get? They have him under a steal per game. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, although I guess traditionally he hasn't been a great steals dude, but he did average 1.2 down the stretch with Toronto last year, and a lot of that's because his minutes went up into the mid-30s instead of 29. So, Yahoo could be off here by 20 steals with quickly, and 20 steals would move my team into basically like a tie for third place instead of mid-pack. So projections can be a little bit flawed, but it is also worth noting I didn't really target a steals guy until OG Anunoby in whatever that was, the 9th round or something like that. Wemby's going to get a bunch, and JJJ is going to be okay in that, and that's a big head start out of the big man build, but I took probably too many littles that don't get him. So, maybe Rozier needed to be a guy that was even higher in steals. Maybe Kobe White or D'Lo needed to be a guy who was higher in steals. Something to think about. Blocks, a solid blocks team. They have me in third place. That's probably about accurate. It might be better than that. Again, my guards got almost none, so frankly, they're probably right. And then turnover is pretty bad, not surprisingly, especially with Scoot and Wemby together on this team. But I didn't go super high in turnovers in, a few picks right after the draft began. As far as lessons learned from this one, I really think that once again, it's a similar lesson to the last one with just a little baby tweak. I like the way this team turned out more than our previous Wemby try. And I think a lot of that's because I went JJJ on the second, third turn. If Chet made it there, he would be the preferred choice. But JJJ almost feels like you kind of have to because you're not going to get Miles Turner. He's not going to make it back to the end of the 4th round. And then you're stuck basically looking at like a Brook Lopez combo platter. Where did Brook go in this draft? I can't find him. Dano's eyes are broken. There he is. Round 8, pick 10. So that's 94. So he didn't make it back to the end of the 8th round, but potentially I could have taken him a little early at the start of the 7th. It's too early to take a low-scoring dude like that, though, in this build. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to go shot blocker, second, third round turn, and the only one really there is JJJ. But again, where could I have fixed things a little bit? I think Dame was the pretty obvious choice there because if you go JJJ, you can't go Van Vliet, who's much better in steals but doesn't score enough. I would have been too far behind the 8 ball in points. Garland and Quickly, I think, were probably the right choices in the 4th, 5th because Ja wasn't making it there. And then, DeMar is the other one where you get a little bit more in steals probably than Quickly. Maybe a little bit more scoring. that maybe is the choice because as it turns out, I probably didn't need as many 3-pointers later as I ended up gathering. So could have gone DeMar. That's probably the only other choice I would consider there. And then end of 6th, beginning of 7th, just looking at other guys that were still on the board, D'Lo and Kobe White, one of those two guys needed to be on my team because I had to keep collecting guard stats. And then I think the other lesson there is, maybe is that where I go with another big? Is that where I'd go with a Hartenstein? Or do I do it instead of Terry Rozier and go, Anunoby plus John Collins or Onyeka Okongwu in the 9th? That's probably the way to go. So I think that's probably the lesson learned, is that the 8-9 area is where I needed to shore up my defensive stats because I could do it without taking the free throw hit, which is what I ended up having to do with Trayce Jackson-Davis when I really wanted to spend that pick on another scoring assist guard type. Like Marcus Smart's not going to score that much, but that would have helped out with steals a lot. And maybe that's the answer too, is that 8-9 range, instead of going steals with Anunoby, I go Rozier for the scoring. I really wanted Jordan Poole, frankly, but I go Rozier for scoring. And then my other pick there is the big man. So Okongwu, John Collins, Daniel Gafford, someone like that. And then in the 10th, 11th is when I go Scoot or Keontae George or both of those guys, or go with a steals dude like a Marcus Smart or a Dyson Daniels. And that's where I get the steals instead of at OG Anunoby. But I do think overall my first 7 were a lot better in this one. First 7 rounds, I think we had in really good shape. And then it was about figuring out where we shore up the defensive stats versus where you continue to pile on the points and the assists and the free throw and the guard stuff. All right, let's put a pin in it. And by put a pin in, I mean let's be done. Follow on Twitter at Dan Vespers, at Old Man Squad. Thank you, everybody that's been joining us for these shows. It's been pretty amazing. I think yesterday was our most viewed / listened to day in the young history of this podcast. Can we top it today? Perhaps. Please leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. Subscribe on all 3 and hit that like button. Also, if you have comments on this mock draft, and I'm sure you do, things I did right, things I did wrong, little areas where we could have pivoted, hit me with them. We're learning little things on the fly. We're going to try to master each guy on the board. And I keep getting questions about when we're going to get into that more well-rounded attack point. Remember, I do an industry Roto mock. Actually, I should probably get that fired up here pretty soon. It's a slow draft that takes about a week. And then I have every single one of those people on the show to talk about their team, the Roto builds. So we'll have, at that point, like a solid dozen shows dedicated almost exclusively to the Roto side, which you guys know is my damn favorite. I'm Dan. That's it for Wednesday. Back tomorrow, Thursday. What are we doing Thursday? How did I forget already? I think we got a guest. Yeah, got a guest. DMAC, NBA Fantasy Bible, is going to be on the show with his guys. So we'll have some of the must drafts from DMAC tomorrow. And I also have all these really fun show ideas. So maybe tomorrow is one of the days to deploy them. I don't know. You just have to subscribe to find out. I guess that's it. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. I'm Dan. Toodaloo.